what do we have here? We have another 14-inch OLED gaming laptop. Unlike some of the other ones that I've done recently that the word gaming is a bit of a stretch, this one should in theory be like an actual gaming laptop with good gaming performance, but of course it is also suitable for professionals and that because it does have that beautiful OLED screen. This is the MSI Stealth 14. Really nice laptop, a little bit thicker than some. I've done a comparison between this and the HP Omen and the Asus G14. I did a little stream on those and I have a comparison video as well. This one here, a little bit thicker than that, a little bit different of a design, not as much of like a MacBook clone. This one is actually more like the Legion 14, I'd say, from 2023. Looks like there's a scuff on there. That's a little bit of thermal paste. Looks nice though. It's a plastic lid, actually, I think there. Metal bottom though, for sure. All right. A little bit thicker than some. They're not going for the like MacBook clone, but they're also not going for like a thick gaming laptop. It's something in between, basically. Left side here, we get a lock slot, vents out, power and DC power in, HDMI out, USB-C. Looks like it does have display as well on that. Right side, headphone, microphone combo jack, USB-A, USB-C, looking good. Nothing on the back in terms of ports. However, we do have a little bit of exhaust there. Looks like it says Stealth there. That's kind of cool. All right, looking nice so far. Inside the laptop, on the bottom of the laptop, we do have the metal bottom. Nice intake there. Pretty straightforward overall. Okay, check the weight of the laptop here. Again, not super thin, but it's actually not that heavy because it's not all metal. See here. 1,646 grams, but not super heavy. We can have the charger on top. Of course, it does charge over USB-C, but if you want to get gaming, maximum gaming performance, you'll take this with you. You can see here, 2,379. Let's put that up there. You can see this here. It's going to be 240 watts on there. Recently, I just did the HP Omen. I've done a comparison video, and it only has 140 watts with a more powerful CPU, but the GPU is fairly nerfed in that. So yeah, that looks good. Okay, so getting inside the laptop, just screws all the way around. 2 long screws here, the rest are all the same. This one's actually really easy to get into. You can see here I just basically went like that. Didn't even need that. Just pulled from the back, no issues. Just be a little bit aware. These ports kind of stick out a bit, so you can get them snagged on there. Just a little bit there. Metal bottom, you can see there. A little bit of structure, pretty straightforward inside. Interestingly here, unlike some similar 14-inch laptops that I've reviewed recently, the G14, the Omen, what else have I reviewed recently that's a gaming laptop? The Lenovo Legion 14-inch, they all have soldered memory. This one here has SODIMM. 2 memory sticks there that you can upgrade. Awesome to see. I love to see that on a laptop. It does compromise some other room in here, but I mean, it's a 14-inch laptop. It's not super thin or anything like that, but as a result, you do get dual SODIMM. So you can buy this with 16, 32, whatever. You can upgrade it as you need. You do get single NVMe there, just one, but again, not too bad. The Legion 14-inch, for example, you do have 2 NVMe slots. However, it doesn't have upgradable RAM. So there's always going to be a little bit of trade-off with a laptop of this size, especially if you're trying to get all these components in here. Upgradable Wi-Fi, good size speakers, the higher watt square style speakers you can see there. Battery here is a decent size, 72 watt hours, so you get pretty good battery life out of this in theory. We'll see how that is. You do get a nice vapor chamber too. Heat pipe on each side there, exhaust out in the back. Vapor chamber cooling as well. It doesn't say anything about liquid metal, so probably not liquid metal, but I do expect it to run reasonably cool because it does have that vapor chamber. 4060 doesn't run super hot. It does have a fairly powerful 155H in here, which can get a little spicy, but it's not like a 14th gen or anything like that. It has these MSI fans that aren't quite as dense there. They've been using these for a while. I find they're a little bit noisier than some other ones, but they do move a lot of air, so we'll see how it is when we actually fire it up. But looks pretty good inside. Decent upgradability. I mean, dual SODIMM's not to be expected on 14-inch gaming laptop. Nice kind of dark blue, very dark blue color. Often doesn't show up on camera, but it's a really nice dark blue. You can see his fingerprints on it because I've done quite a bit of reviewing already. You can see me there. It's got the OLED screen, not fully reflective, it's not going to be like an anti-gloss screen or anything like that. It's not a glass screen, I don't think. It might be, but it has a little bit of like a plasticky look to it. I'm not sure if that actually means it is or not. Camera kill switch up there. 240 hertz. Speakers firing up here, so you get down firing speakers there, up firing speakers here. Tweeters into the ear. little bit more boomers down there. Nice kind of standard looking trackpad there. Nice kind of standard looking keyboard there. Trackpad's nice blue looking. So let's get it booted up and we'll start doing some benchmarks and tests and things like that. Okay, let's jump right into the keyboard here, keyboard and trackpad. You can see there it's got some RGB. I'm going to kill the lights for a sec. See that there? Nice little bit of RGB there. It's on some kind of weird randomization pattern here. I don't see anything on here to actually kill it. I mean, you can get some of these like crosshairs and stuff there. Green there, I guess that's the keyboard, but the thing is I don't know. Oh, that does change it. Okay, so that changes it there. All right, sure. And then you can see the keyboard here, just a very standard layout. You get function keys embedded up there. Standard layout, dedicated direction buttons. Looks good, to be honest. It's Steel Series. We'll give a little typing test here. Okay, so the keyboard is incredibly snappy, very snappy. The key travel is not massive. You can see that it actually has small keycaps, physically small keycaps, and the travel is pretty good actually. You can see that the keys actually go basically below, right, the actual chassis, the keyboard deck, but they're physically small keyboard keycaps. Very snappy though, like that start, that spacebar. Yeah, very snappy keyboard. If you watch my review, I don't know what order I'm going to release these in, but if you watch my review of the G14, either before or after this, this is a vastly better keyboard than the Asus G14 22.4. I don't like that keyboard really that much at all. It's snappy and everything, but it's like a MacBook kind of clone. This one here has some elements like a MacBook, like the smaller keycaps, but there's a lot of travel. So it's nice and snappy. It wouldn't take me long to get like really the hang of this. It's actually quite a nice keyboard. It's coming to the trackpad, not huge, not small, kind of just a nice middling size there. Smooth-ish to the texture, not gloss or anything like that, but it feels smooth. Click here. Very nice click. Nice sharp click. Okay, let's look at the specs here. We'll see how they run. So this one here has a 155H CPU. You can see that there. Intel Core Ultra 7. It's actually a really good CPU, to be honest. It has a lot of the power that you want out of an Intel GPU, a lot of the power that you want out of an Intel CPU, but you will get better battery life and efficiency than 14th gen, 13th gen stuff. There we go. 5600 megahertz. So it is running at the full speed of the RAM sticks that are in there. That's nice. So you are getting full speed RAM there. You can add more. That's as fast, I believe, as fast as a Core Ultra can go. It might go faster, but to date I haven't seen it. NVMe, Samsung, that's basically a Samsung 980 Pro, that MZVL, that's a 980 Pro OEM version. Wi-Fi 7, so very good Wi-Fi on this laptop, exceptionally good Wi-Fi. Intel Arc graphics, so again, you can disable the GPU and play games on Intel Arc if you want. I mean, obviously the 4060 is going to be vastly more powerful, but you can if you wanted to. That's an AI thing. And then you get a 4060 on it. So screen here is actually quite nice. Obviously it's an OLED screen. You can see, in theory, you can see, quite reflective. So that might be an issue. 2.8K screen, similar to some of the other ones in the class. I think the Legion is the same. Legion 14, I can't remember. It's been so long. I'll bring it up on the screen if it's not. The G14 is the same resolution and the Omen is the same resolution. So that's becoming a popular 14-inch resolution for these laptops. Good for gaming. I mean, you can always use more DLSS if need be, slightly above 1600p, 1440p, but it does give a lot of clarity when you're doing professional tasks. These 14-inch laptops aren't just gaming laptops. I mean, they are to an extent, but at the same time, they're also really geared towards like hybrid use. I call them hybrid use laptops because they also appeal towards professionals because they do these beautiful, high color range screens. They also have the power that you're going to need to do professional work. You can see here it does have NVIDIA Studio Graphics as a default sticker on it, kind of alluding to the fact that it's a professional laptop. You can install other graphics, doesn't really matter, but that's kind of what they're alluding to there. Overall, just a really nice just really a hybrid style laptop. If you're going to be moving around a lot, I mean, also you get a 14-inch like this, it's going to be a lot more portable than a big 16-inch laptop. You can see here that the screen here, 1800p, so high resolution, like I said, and then you do get different refresh rates. You can go dynamic, 120 versus 60. So it's a nice high refresh rate. You can immediately see that. Well, I can. You can't because you are seeing it at 60 frames per second. Okay, again, 2.8K screen, OLED, should look pretty nice here. Right away, beautiful reds. Really, really vibrant, actually. nice and bright too. Make sure that's on max because I'm seeing this as it's a very nice bright screen. Not like a 1200 nit mini LED, but again, it's OLED. They're always limited with a certain brightness, but it's a very, very vibrant screen because it's glossy. You'll hear me in all my videos, glossy screens pop more. There's more color, more vibrancy. Yes, you can get a little bit more reflection. I don't know if you can see me. A little bit, you can see me there. You get a little bit of reflection, you know, if you're bringing in lights like that, right, you get more reflection, but the colors do pop. So professional work, I typically lean towards professional color correct type work. I typically lean towards glossy screens because of that vibrancy. If you work in a very bright environment though, glossy can be annoying obviously, or if you work outdoors. That's basically what I see there. Absolute blacks, it's an OLED, so you'd expect that. Yeah, it's absolutely killer screen, very beautiful, very vibrant. If you watch my video comparing this to the G14 and the HP Omen, this was my favorite screen because it's just as nice as the other ones, but it pops a little bit more. But it is very glossy. Yeah, it's just a really nice screen. You can see it's like just very, very, very vibrant screen. My phone recording device just won't do it justice, but it's an exceptionally nice screen. So you can see that this popped up here. It's kind of like a, I guess, different color options you can go here. So true color, gamer, ooh, that looks really rich. So gamer mode just really increases the vibrancy, I guess. Anti-blue, I mean, obviously. sRGB if you want to work in the sRGB color space. Adobe RGB if you want to work in the Adobe RGB color space. This is really good. P3, which is usually what I'm used to, so I'm going to work in P3. Office, that actually, yeah, just makes some of the colors change slightly. These go a little bit more, I guess, gray. Movie kind of gives it a bit of a warm tone. I'm used to using the P3 color space quite a bit. They're a little bit different. Like you can see these here slightly different. I'm just used to it, so that's good. That's really cool that it has that. Again, alluding to the fact that this isn't just a gaming laptop, which it is. It's also alluding to the fact that it's a creator laptop. It does get fairly loud as far as I remember. Okay, so I'm not sure how well the mic will pick it up, but if you watch my review of some other laptops, the G14, Asus G14 sounds better. The G14 has bigger speakers here, a little bit more rich, and the down-firing speakers are probably similar, but it's more voluminous and it has more bass. This one here sounds better than some of the other ones that I've tested recently, such as the HP Omen. The HP Omen does not have up-firing speakers. This does. So you do get on this laptop decent bass from these down here, good low end. These here do fire directly into your ears. It gives you a lot of high end. You could see on the noise meter, it's not super loud actually. There are louder laptops out there, but because these tweeters go directly into your ears, basically, sounds louder than it probably is. Like the max volume is not maybe super loud, but it does sound like very, very loud directly on your, directly in your ears. So the mic may not pick that up, but to me it sounds very loud. I find these a little bit piercing, so probably what I would do is actually go into like Realtek or download FX Sound, and I would actually just pull down the high end slightly. Leave the bass as it is, leave everything as it is. Just pull down that high end just a tiny little bit, just to bring these down a little bit, because they're so close to you that they do, you get hit with a lot of that high end frequency, and it's just kind of piercing, so I'd bring it down. However, overall, it is a really nice set of speakers. That looks pretty good there. MSI Center here is a pretty good software. I've already tested this laptop slightly. You can come in here and mess around with some stuff. Discrete graphics, integrated, so discrete is going to be best performance. Integrated is going to give you kind of mixed performance. Integrated is going to be better for battery, but it's not going to, you could game on it actually. It's 155H Intel Arc graphics. You could absolutely game on these integrated graphics, and you could game well. Probably you'd want to lower it down to 1080p, 1200p, but you could certainly game on integrated graphics with no issues. Different performance mode, often you can just leave it on smart, it'll figure it out. Extreme performance will just tear. Typically the laptop, the fans can get pretty noisy. Balanced is good overall. Looks like it says, best system settings that MSI recommends. If you're gaming, you probably you can switch between them depending on what you're doing. Silent does actually get quite a bit quieter. The fans will kick off, and best super battery will, again, save battery more. Okay, we'll throw this into performance mode here, and we'll do a little bit of Cinebench just for noise. I'll do the benchmarks after, you'll see the numbers, but I just want to get the noise here. pretty noisy. Those MSI fans, they can really tear. Some of the other brands have been putting out these, I think they're like low turbulence fans. They're just the design of them. But this does move a lot of air, we'll put it that way. Yeah, it does drop down. Yeah, extreme performance is kind of annoying. It has a little bit of a whine to it. Not coil whine, but a little bit of like a pitchy sound. This is much more tolerable. And how's the heat here? No, throttling's gone too. It says that it's core power exceeded, but... okay, so silent is actually like pretty quiet. Okay, so we'll bring up the numbers and check out the results there, but when we do some gaming tests, we'll also see how these modes perform. Here's a look at some benchmarks. We can see here that the performance on the left, balanced in the middle, and silent on the right. To be honest, all of the modes do pretty well. Balanced and performance are almost identical, so in most cases you can probably just throw it in that kind of balanced mode there because the CPU seems to be doing relatively the same either way, if you're just doing CPU tasks at least. And then even on silent mode, it's actually doing quite well. Getting 13,000 on silent mode is very respectable for a CPU like this, so a lot of the times you could actually throw it in silent mode and actually still get very good performance. SSD here is obviously very fast. You can see Gen 4, upper tier Gen 4 speeds, so as expected. Wi-Fi also extremely fast here. That's about as fast as my Wi-Fi can go. It's Wi-Fi 7, so you're going to get really, really stable and fast connection out of it. Battery life here, it's okay. I mean, I've been finding some issues with the Intel stuff in general of late, not having great battery, and the Core Ultra is kind of, I don't know, it's almost system specific. Doesn't matter what I do with debloating, it's kind of up and down. This one here, we're draining at about 11 watts or so on full idle, although I do have it at full brightness and the screen at full resolution. And we're getting 336 minutes or so in terms of battery life. So you'll get about 5 or 6 hours on just kind of idle. You could always, lower the brightness and do these shenanigans and that, but it's going to idle around 6 hours or so. And then I did some 1080p YouTube here, and you can see that at 88% battery life, we're getting around 231 minutes or so. It just kind of depends on what we're doing here, but that's going to give you probably around 4-ish hours, maybe 4.5 hours of YouTube. So not terrible, but I'd expect better. Not terrible overall, but again, if you had an AMD machine with the same type specifications, you'd get a lot more battery. It's just kind of the nature of these Intel CPUs overall. Okay, here's a look at the webcam on this. I'm doing it with a very similar scene to the other 14 inches I've done recently to kind of make them comparable. A little bit of light on the right, fair bit on the left here for you guys, I guess. It's pretty challenging of a scene, not a lot coming in from the front. It's doing a good job, to be honest. It's not quite as nice as some of the other ones I've tested absolutely recently. The OLED had a nicer camera for sure, but it definitely does look good, especially with this darker scene here. Okay, gaming portion time. It's pretty loud, you can see that here. 58. So balanced mode now. Okay, so this is Ghost of Tsushima here. We're going to start in balance mode. I just want to see the performance difference. So we're going to go with some reasonable settings here. It's 1800p, so it's a high resolution. It's higher than 1440p. It's higher than 1600p. It's a very high resolution screen. We'll go no scaling to start here. I don't expect anything crazy out of it. Let's go high. So 1800p high. We'll see what we can do just with that there. This is balanced mode. And you can see there, because the wattage on the GPU is only at 64. The 4060 is usually fine with lower watts. It's okay. The CPU won't like it, but it's about 40 watts, 40 FPS here, 31 low, so it's good. It's just the raw performance of what it can do there in that mode. Let's throw it on extreme performance here. Yeah, you can see the GPU went up to 90, so a lot more watts on that GPU. But its performance is up a little bit. The NVIDIA 4060 and 4070 and 4050 are actually okay with lower watts. They don't seem to freak out. A lot of people are always worried, oh, well, why doesn't the 4060 have 130 watts or whatever? Well, it doesn't need it. Let's put it that way. There's definitely some heat on the keyboard here. Warmer than some other laptops that I've tested recently. I wouldn't call it hot, but there definitely is some heat here. Yeah, a little bit of heat here. Some of the other ones I've tested recently don't have that, which is interesting. So we'll do performance here for now. We can always switch to balanced again, but you can see that the performance is relatively similar. Just go with the the one that you find less annoying, which is probably balanced, to be honest. We'll come in here, see what we can do with a little DLSS. probably quality is going to be enough, to be honest. I think we're going to get up to about 60. Oh, way above 60, actually. So, actually, that's pretty good. Quality DLSS. I recently tested a couple other 14-inch laptops, gaming laptops, and this is doing quite well. And if you get motion sick, just look away. I'm going to do some screen tearing. Yeah, there's really no screen tearing there, so the G-Sync is obviously working. To be honest, it's actually performing very well. Let's see what we can do with very high. It's probably going to drop down, but let's see. Very high, which is quality DLSS. This is pretty good, actually. Yeah, just shy of 60 with that. I think balanced will get us just enough to get over 60. And remember, this is a high resolution screen, so you can use a little bit more DLSS. If you're on a 1080p screen, you throw on boatloads of DLSS, it's going to start to look muddy, and you'll get weird artifacting. On an 1800p screen, there's no problem putting on balanced DLSS. I mean, most of the time, I leave quality on at least, because it's like free performance. But on the screen of this resolution, honestly, I just throw it on balanced. You can be on very high here, balanced DLSS, and it's running very well. Above 60 is really, and for this type of game, you're going to be happy with above 60, to be honest. Little dips here, but there's a lot going on with these like flowery things, people all over the place. Light rays. Look how good it looks though on this beautiful OLED screen. Really nice. Yeah, look at that. Very high settings. Balanced mode. I did have to put on performance DLSS, but man, it's way quieter. And that's going to give us the same performance as balance mode. Look at this guy. Is he special because he's got the white outfit? And so, what do I think about the MSI Stealth here? 14 AI Studio. It's a really nice laptop, actually. There's a lot of competition kind of emerging in this 14-inch space where they're kind of promoting it as a gaming laptop / creator laptop. This one here, it's actually quite good in terms of gaming performance. It does really, really well. There potentially may be some laptops that are a little bit more specialized. I mean, like the Lenovo Legion's a little bit more like pure gaming. There's laptops that are a little bit more creator focused specifically. This is kind of like right in the middle. You definitely get a little bit of a thicker chassis than some of those more creator style laptops. You can see that, you know, some of those other ones are a little bit thinner. However, you do, you know, still have a really thin laptop here. It's not very heavy. Feels quite premium. Metal bottom, a little bit more plastic on it. With a little bit more of a gamer accent than some of those, you know, creator styles, but it does still, you know, have a pretty stealthy kind of professional look to it. The screen is fantastic on it. It's pretty glossy. I like glossy screens. Some people may not like that, but it also does have those different color calibration modes. So overall, I think it's a really nice laptop. I mean, it also has a really nice keyboard on it. You know, typing on the keyboard is quite nice and snappy. The audio is decent overall. Battery life is not great. I'd say that's probably the weakest part of it. You know, the battery life not being that good. So overall, I think it's a nice laptop. I mean, the price of these at launch is actually a bit lower than some of the competition that's out there. I mean, the Omen came out, the G14 kind of all around the same time, and those two were much more expensive, at least in Canada. This was the cheapest of the options there, and it's still a little expensive, to be honest, but it'll come down in price. I think, you know, once this drops in price a little bit, you know, goes on sale, I think it's a pretty solid buy. I mean, the CPU does perform well, like I said. The GPU performs well. Audio is good. Keyboard good. Build quality good. I mean, there's not really anything I can critique too much about it. I mean, battery life isn't great. I guess that's really it. It's not all metal. And yeah, I think MSI actually has a pretty nice laptop here. So definitely they should keep it up. Nice laptop.